As promised, my dear ones, I'm back. It's me. It's your girl, Empress G, the Georgia Peach. Welcome to Empress Goddess Presents. Now, I always stress about the importance of the natal chart, right? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my chart as an example. It's an interpretation of my placements and everything. Okay, and it tells you the significance of all the aspects because you have sextiles, you have conjunctions, you know, sextiles, conjunctions. What's the other one? Sextiles, conjunctions, and let's rattle the tip of my darn tongue. The aspects, I believe it is. It's deep. I tell you that much. That's all I can tell you. So we're gonna get started. All right, my loves.
cafeastrology.com, cafeastrology.com /free natal chart report equal houses.html. Free natal chart report equal houses. The following free birth chart tool lists planet signs, house positions, and aspects. This is for the equal house system. If you are uncertain about house systems, we suggest using the default system for determining houses, which is Placidus. For the default house system, Placidus. Return here. Closing parenthesis. Start over. Chart data for Deanna Hall, Stanford. The 12th of January 1976 at 18:15, 6:15 p.m. Time zone equals UTC -5. Universal time, 23:15. Augusta, Georgia, United States. 33 degrees north, 28 feet, 81 degrees W, 58. Tropical zodiac. Equal houses. Chart drawing. Introduction. The following lists positions of planets and points in your natal chart with interpretations for key factors. Planets and points in the signs. Sun in Capricorn. 21 degrees. 53 feet 28 inches. B. Sun. In the chart shows our character, personal identity, and ego. It represents our will to live in our creative life force, just as the planets revolve around the sun in our solar system. We derive our life purpose from the sun in our natal charts. The sun is our adult, the part of us that censors our inner child, reasons things out, and makes final decisions. The sun also gives clues to our overall vitality. The sun directs us and can be considered the boss of our chart. When people ask you, what's your sign? Capricorn would be your answer. Technically, though, it's your sun sign that is Capricorn, and you're made up of many different sign combinations. Even so, your sun sign is highly influential and significant, and we're interpreting this factor here. Capricorn is a feet on the ground, eye on the prize sign. Those with sun in Capricorn adopt a realistic, grounded approach to life that is unmistakable no matter how dreamy the rest of the birth chart may or may not be. Capricorns know how to do things, and to get things done. Some Capricorns naturally turn their backs on things they deem too frivolous. They are very much concerned with things that are worthwhile. And this also applies to their own lives. Capricorns want to do and be something important, like their earth sign relatives, Taurus and Virgo. They need to feel useful and effective in the real world in order to be satisfied with their lives. But the Capricorn spin on the earth signs is that they have a stronger need for recognition in a worldly sense. They have a great sense of society and its framework, and they feel most secure when they feel they are doing their part within that framework. As a Capricorn, you tend to like to pare things down, and you take pleasure in the simple things in life. However, some Capricorns can be attracted to status symbols, and these will wear the best clothes, tasteful ones, and drive quietly impressive cars. Comparing Capricorns to their symbol, the goat, brings up some interesting analogies. Solar Capricorns can see into the future and plan for it. They don't mind taking things slowly, but they absolutely aim to get to the top of the mountain in life. While other signs might see a mountain or a long road, and so forth, and fear how long it would take them to climb it, Capricorns are somehow comforted by the idea that they can slowly but surely get to the top. They make their way steadily and sure-footedly, and their strength and singleness of purpose are admirable. Capricorns can sometimes be rather lonely people, although they rarely let it show. They are often a bit reserved, even standoffish. This is usually because they value all things practical, and they'll seldom wear their emotions on their sleeves unless they have a particularly flamboyant moon sign. This is a sign that is undoubtedly the most resourceful of the zodiac. To some, Capricorns come across as unimaginative, but goats can be enormously creative when it comes to the material world. They are very capable people with a strong sense of tradition and responsibility. Many Capricorns have mastered the art of making people laugh. Their sense of humor can be of the deadpan variety. They're excellent at keeping a straight face. They can be bitingly sarcastic, too. Capricorns are not known for taking too many risks in life. They value the beaten track and things tried and true. This is not to say they are stick in the muds. They merely appreciate the hard work laid down by those who've been around before them. As a Capricorn, you think about old age more than most, or you consider your future self 10 or 20 years from now. This quality is behind
That's true.
many of the adjectives assigned to your zodiac sign, including prudent, cautious, and thoughtful. You've probably shouldered your share of responsibility in your life. You are goal-oriented and can be very determined to achieve what you set out to do. You may not be as quick to jump into new projects as some signs, but you're the one who makes it to the finish line. You may come across as a little judgy, largely because you hold yourself to rather high standards. As well, you tend to be the mature one of any given group, at least in spirit. You seek out and aim to create order, and you're very bothered by others who don't follow the rules and end up getting in others' ways as a result. Sloppiness such as this can be frustrating. You're not boring, but you certainly appreciate some predictability, respect, structure, code, and organization. You prefer not to stick out too much from the pack, preferring to respect others' boundaries and make your way through life quietly and steadily. Friends turn to you for help when they need to really get things done. As a Capricorn, you have practical advice, and you'll help them organize and manage their lives a little better. Capricorns are typically good with their word, dependable, and loyal people. Capricorn vibes with the number 8, Saturdays, the metal lead, marine or navy blue, dark green, gray, and jade stones. Your sun sign is modified by various factors, including the aspects it makes to other planets and points, its house position, the house with the sign the sun rules Leo on its cusp, and your Saturn sign since Saturn is Capricorn's planetary ruler. These positions add more layers to the sun in Capricorn interpretation. Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign. More on Capricorn. Ascendant in Leo. 0 degrees. 11 feet 10 inches. B. Ascendant defines, in part, the first impression we make on others in a personal rather than professional sense. It represents our physical appearance, our physical bodies and overall health, and the body ego. It can be the mask or costume we wear to greet the world. It reveals our natural and personal defense mechanisms that we use to adapt to, and cope with, our environment. The ascendant also shows our first impressions of the world around us and our expectations of same, whether we are naturally hesitant or enthusiastic, for example. How we begin new projects and our attitude towards new experiences come under the rule of the ascendant. Leo rising people cannot help but be noticed. They radiate a unique energy and magnetism that gets others' attention. Sometimes it's because they are loud people who pay a lot of attention to their personal appearance, especially their hair. Other times it's due to a regal manner that simply demands interest from others. You are very self-aware and body conscious. You are acutely aware of others and how you come across. In fact, you are especially aware of your personal backdrop. You consider what the people you're with and the environments you're in do to your own image. Often, Leo rising natives feel as if they are on stage, even in the privacy of their own homes. You are given to rash decisions, temper tantrums, and excesses. However, you have plenty of staying power and drive, and your idealism keeps you from getting into too much trouble. The desire to oversee the goings-on in your circle can sometimes amount to bossiness or the appearance of bossiness. If this wish doesn't go too far, however, it's really about making sure the people you love are alright. Many Leo rising people are managers, either by profession or character. The tendency to overestimate things, and yourself, is entirely possible with this rising sign. This is due to your natural enthusiasm and optimism about any new undertaking. Sometimes, people with this position are walking commercials. In fact, Leo rising people make excellent promoters. You can be quite demonstrative and given to grand gestures, although if your sun is in a less outgoing sign or house, this may not be quite as evident. Quiet power is perfectly fine. Drama does come naturally to you either way. In fact, sometimes you can be so caught up in fiction that you're a little blind to fact. You have an unusual need to be admired and respected. Whether or not you're popular, you can be hard to resist. In fact, it's probably up to you whether you want to move with the in crowd or not. You can be quite selective about who you give your full friendship to, probably because you're tremendously loyal and wholehearted with those you do, so it's not something you take lightly.
True.
People can be intimidated, however, upon first meeting, mainly because you come across as quite self-assured and self-sufficient. You do want to appear in control, and you very much exceed at doing so. This might work against you at times when you could use a bit of help. No matter your age in real-world terms, you are a kid at heart. You are fun-loving and warm, generous and spirited. In childhood, you may have acquired the label of the strong one, and much was expected of you. Even so, caregivers might have also treated you very carefully, tiptoeing around you, as they knew how easy it was to hurt your pride. As a child, when you were happy, you were a true peach, but when you weren't, everyone around you suffered. This may have been a reason for this kind of special handling. As you mature, ideally you learn that recognition and feedback are not what make you powerful, even if this message was absorbed at an early age. You can often find yourself in the position of leader. Whether or not you've chosen that role, you simply radiate the kind of energy that suggests you're in command and know what to do next. While you try to hide it, you are worried about failing or coming across as weak and ineffective. You are very proud. You have a strong sense of bravado and performance. Almost to a fault, you take the high road. It's quite likely you have a strong physical constitution. You pay particular attention to your personal appearance and mannerisms. You often choose clothing and hairstyles that are youthful and stylish. Your manner is authoritarian and stable, and also quite warm. You always seem to make a strong impression. There is something about you that is substantial, and people usually consider you to be trustworthy. You can be intensely, and quite stubbornly, loyal and giving. It's imperative that others treat you with the respect and recognition you deserve. You are unlikely to forge a real bond with someone who doesn't. You often attract people who are a little more emotionally detached than you, and those who tend to go their own way rather than follow the crowd. Just how magnanimous and outgoing you are will be modified by the placement of your sun by sign and house, as well as the sun's condition by aspect. This is because the ruling planet of your ascendant, which is often called the chart ruler, is the sun. For example, a Leo rising person with sun in Virgo may not come across as strongly as a Leo rising person with sun in Aries. No matter the placement of the sun, However, you are quite self-aware and optimistic. You have a natural flair for presentation, an eye for quality, and a hard-to-resist warmth of style. You want to make things happen, and you can create quite a stir, sometimes with your mere presence. More on Leo rising. Dot. Moon in Taurus. 29 degrees. 57 feet 45 inches. The moon in the signs reveals much about our habits, reactions, and instincts. It shows how we express and deal with our emotions. Most obvious in our homes or in private, our moon sign reveals our innermost needs. The moon can represent our experience of nurturing, it also shows how we nurture ourselves. It's important to note that moon signs change every 2 or 2 minus 1/2 days, and on some days, can be one of two signs, in which case an accurate birth time is necessary. You have the moon in the sign of Taurus in your natal chart, and familiarity is vital to lunar Taurians. You are earthy and strong-willed. You feel with your senses, and you are pretty much rooted in your ways. You may very well revel in material comforts. In fact, building a stable and comfortable home and foundation helps to keep you feeling safe and content. It isn't wise to try to push you into doing anything, as you tend to dig in your heels if you're rushed or dominated, but once you've committed, you're remarkably persevering. There's a steadiness to this position of the moon that is comforting to people close to you. But there is also a conservative streak in you that can be maddening to more progressive personalities. You tend to go out of your way to avoid messy or unpredictable situations, crises, and emotional displays. You'd rather focus on creating a reliable and secure life around you. In relationships, lunar Taurians such as you may not easily recognize their partner's need for change, growth, or emotional stimulation. Staying on top of this tendency is essential. Moon in Taurus natives are usually very romantic, although not typically in a flowery way. Instead, their affections are strong, deep, and unwavering, and they are sentimental and warm. Since Taurus is a practical earth sign, the placement of the moon in this sign suggests an ability to protect themselves and their own interests. They will rarely make a move without first determining that it is safe and that there's something in it for them. With your moon in Taurus, you have a strong need for predictability in your home and family life, even if other aspects of your personality prompt you to seek out excitement in various other life departments. Generally, you have reliable instincts. You can be very much tied to the physical world, and you're likely to have a particularly well-developed sense of smell. Sensual but simple pleasures delight you tremendously. In this way, you are wonderfully straightforward and easy to please. Relationships for you are often quite enduring. Many Moon and Taurus people hang on to their mates longer than most, even in the face of severe conflict. Taurus is a fixed sign, so breakups don't happen easily. There is a serenity to you that others can find very calming. In fact, it takes a lot to really get to you. However, you do get off center every once in a while. You are not the most adaptable of people when your own routine is interrupted, for example. Though some Lunartorians might be considered anal, most simply have a stubborn streak that keeps them rather resistant to change. Rarely are you a spontaneous sort unless there are many other factors in your chart pointing in that direction. Uncomfortable with surprises. You value stability. Your needs are robust but quite simple at the same time. You love the good things in life. The world of the five senses is all important to you. Your love of stability and steadiness can make you somewhat of a slave to routine at times. However, you are loyal and capable, and this kind of stick-to-it energy is wonderful. Mercury in Aquarius. 9 degrees. 08. 23 inches. What's your style of communication? How do you make decisions? How do you pick up, process, absorb, and exchange information? These questions are answered, in part, by Mercury's placement by sign in your natal chart. Someone may be an assertive Aries, but they could also have Mercury in Taurus, with a style of communication that's slower, patient, and not quite as spirited as one would expect from an Aries, as an example. Mercury refines the sun sign, and it helps to define how we take in and give out information. Unconventional in self-expression, you enjoy breaking the rules. With your Mercury in Aquarius, you are not necessarily loud or flamboyant. You can have a quiet way of stirring others up. You may very well delight in exposing what you deem biases in others' way of thinking, or simply enjoy surprising or shocking others. Very quick to contradict others and to offer a different perspective, you enjoy intellectual debates. You're objective and highly alert, and your powers of observation are particularly strong. You usually win debates. In fact, you're very interested in scoring intellectual points, which can be maddening to others at times. Aquarius is an air sign, which is detached and intellectual by nature. It is also a fixed sign, so people born under Mercury in Aquarius often have an intellectual agenda. Some with this position have an apparent intellectual superiority complex and can intimidate others. Fortunately, though, most Mercury in Aquarius people make for delightful company. You always have something interesting to say, and your perspective on issues can be delightfully unusual, quirky, and surprisingly insightful. You're quick to say, I know, and the truth is, your intuition is so powerful, and your mind is so bright, that you often do. You may have unusual study habits. You're a bit resistant to following schedules, even if you have a Capricorn sun, and perhaps particularly so with a Pisces or Aquarius sun sign. Although you're often surprisingly organized, your sense of order may not be entirely apparent or understandable to others. You can be particularly attracted to scientific, technical, and/or metaphysical pursuits. Anything that promises progress and advancement for mankind has special appeal. Your sense of humor is well developed and unique. Practical jokes and anything that shocks and stirs up others is especially appreciated. You're clever, spontaneous, independent, and progressive in thought, and also a little stubborn. You despise backward and biased thinking. You're loyal to ideas up to a certain point, after which you see great value in updating your views as times change. In other words, you're not married to tradition, but you don't blindly attach yourself to new ways of thinking, either, although cutting-edge ideas do excite you. You're highly intuitive and quick to grasp even the most abstract concepts. Venus in Sagittarius. 13 degrees. 49 feet 22 inches. How do you attract things, situations, and people into your life? Venus rules our sentiments, what we value, and the pleasure we take in life. Grace, charm, and beauty are all ruled by Venus. Through Venus, we learn about our tastes, preferences, artistic inclinations, and what makes us happy. We look to Venus in the natal chart to see how we approach relationships of the heart, as well as what gives us pleasure. We also turn to Venus to show how we spend our money, the types of gifts we buy, and how much we spend on leisure activities, not to mention the kinds of leisure activities we seek. Venus rules attractiveness, both the ability to attract and attraction to others and things. Venus rules, amongst other things, the arts, love and romance, beauty and the beautifying process, money, entertainment, leisure, sensuality, and comfort. With your Venus in the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius, you need to feel you can grow and expand your horizons through your relationships. You want to learn new things and experience everything together. You're an idealistic lover and partner, and you need your loved one to appreciate your beliefs, visions, and ideals, or it's pretty much game over. You can be a confusing mix of the light-hearted and serious. You're a roamer and a seeker, and you don't usually commit in your relationships as easily as others. This is not because of a deficit, but due to your strong beliefs that freedom is vital, and you don't trust something that feels conformist, forced, or unnatural. You'd prefer that your feelings grow spontaneously and organically, and that a partner's feelings for you develop similarly. You're likely to turn people on with your big smile and laugh, your jokes, your grand schemes, your dreams, and your friendly, flirtatious behavior. You pride yourself on your open mind, but do watch for coming across as judgmental since your opinions are strong. Turn-offs in others for you are dullness, emotional overkill, and inhibitions. You're restless at times, and you won't put up with partners who dwell on only one or two things or uphold rigid routines. When the going gets tough in your relationship, you can have an overwhelming desire to run away. Usually this only means getting out and experiencing something new before you come back and deal, but sometimes it can be for good. You are attracted to people who are in love with life. A person doesn't need to be refined, polished, or graceful to win your favor. Pleasing you involves allowing you plenty of space in the relationship to grow. A partner should avoid getting stuck in a rut and should understand your need to move on. You don't like to dwell on things you can't change. Learning to laugh things off is essential, but the right partner for you should take your rants and raves seriously, avoid criticizing your beliefs, join you in debates, and philosophize along with you. They should be ready and willing to join you in your adventures, however big or small. They'll also learn to look past your occasional clumsiness with them and their feelings, and they should absolutely avoid cornering you or forcing you to commit. My personal ad bio. I am fun and funny. I have joie de vivre and I love to laugh. I am open to experience romantic adventures, as well as a straightforward, even blunt, approach to love, are themes with Venus in Sagittarius. Truth and higher meaning are revered with Sagittarius. There can be some inconstancy and possibly a tendency to escape or flee when love is too complex, intricate, or needy. Some with this position are rather traditional in their approach to relationships, as this is a spiritual sign. They're usually sincere, upright, and straightforward about what you want. You enjoy getting to know a lover on a philosophical level, exchanging ideas, and experiencing interesting things together. Venus and Sagittarius people are not always especially attached to personal possessions. They are not known to be especially frugal, although some of them equate money with freedom, and will gladly put money aside for travel. Spontaneity is at the heart of what you love, so too much planning when it comes to your pleasures and pastimes can bore you. Things that are too time-consuming or intricate may not appeal. You have little patience with people playing hard to get or beating around the bush. The same goes for too much seriousness or romancing. You usually prefer to jump in and then talk about it after the fact, if need be. You're wonderfully enthusiastic, happy, and expressive. You're also just, honest, straightforward, and brave. Companionship and friendship are important to you more than other relationship trappings. You'd rather a partner enjoy themselves and life than feel tied down. In turn, you expect a partner to want the best for you and you need a person who encourages you in your dreams. This position is not the most sentimental of Venus placements. You're trusting, open, and demonstrative. You need breathing room and you give others the same, unless there are strong indicators. Otherwise, you're not as attached to material things as others and you may not be particularly frugal, having a basic faith that the universe will provide you with what you need. Mars in Gemini, 15 degrees. 08, 30 inches R. X. Mars is the planet that rules our drive and passions. In the mutable air sign of Gemini, Mars in your chart is a little scattered and unfocused, but quite adept, adaptable, and bright. Easily bored, you may need a fresh change of pace frequently to keep energy levels up. It's a somewhat odd thing, really, but when there's nothing much to do, you're exhausted. However, if there's plenty of exciting things on your Agenda. You're a powerhouse. More than most people, you have a physical reaction to boredom. You have a passion for words, and when you get angry or fired up, you use words as your weapon. Angry communications, some of the most incisive and sarcastic ones, can fly around for the more assertive or energetic types with this position. Others not as aggressively inclined talk things through energetically. Whatever is the case for you, you seem to need to get everything off your chest when you're fired up. In fact, debates are a Mars in Gemini specialty. You can readily draw on your sharp wit to win arguments. In general, you can be talkative, and perhaps very much so. If your natal chart shows more reserve, you seem to go in and out of talkativeness, becoming chatty when you're worked up or enthusiastic about something or the other. You prefer to use words rather than force. You may also prefer mental tasks to physical labor. You'd make an exceptional teacher of topics you love. You can be quite skilled at communicating, whether in your speech or writing, or both. There is a colorful, animated, or enthusiastic quality to your communications, although you can be moody or your verbosity is cyclical. You're clever and a quick learner, but you don't always have the patience to go very deeply into specific subjects. Your skills are many, and you can be very resourceful. Your output is variable, as you can work at lightning speed when inspired and move on to something else when bored. You're given to short bursts of activity. This Mars placement is the position of the multitasker. Some people with this position of Mars are quite fidgety. They have much nervous energy. In general, their nervousness and restlessness are at the root of many physical ups and downs. When they're on edge, they can be nitpicky. Many Mars in Gemini natives channel their energy through their hands. Gemini, after all, rules the hands, and these people often express energy through musical instruments, crafts, video, games, and the like. Many are attracted to puzzles and games as diversions, and they're quite skilled at them. With Mars in Gemini, you can be very adaptable, often thriving on change. In a more conservative chart, this will show up on a mental level. You usually take up many projects at once, spreading yourself thin at times. Sustained interest is not especially the forte of this Mars placement. You'd need some helpful Saturn, Capricorn, and Taurus influences for follow-through, and if not, you'd benefit from attempting to focus your energies rather than scattering them. However, your versatility and disdain for routine generally mean you're busy and interesting. Your first instinct is to use your wit, words, social skills, and intelligence to achieve your desires and goals. Jupiter in Aries. 16 degrees. 37 feet 02. With Jupiter in Aries, you believe in the power of positivity, that life is what you make of it. You love competition or doing things independently. You value instant results. Jupiter in Aries individuals like yourself attract the most good fortune when they take the lead initiate, inspire others, and demonstrate enthusiasm and courage. Prosperous areas for you are ones that allow you to head and lead, and to innovate. As a fire sign Jupiter, you identify strongly with your opinions, beliefs, and perceptions, and you may take it quite personally if others disagree with them. You make your own opportunities, and you are at your best when you are thinking in big terms, taking calculated risks, and displaying confidence. Saturn in Leo. 0 degrees. 07, 43 inches R. X. Saturn in our charts shows us where we limit ourselves due to fear or insecurity. It can be difficult to express or identify with your needs for approval or attention with your Saturn in Leo. You may hold some disdain for people who seem to need personalized care or need to distinguish themselves as unique and special. You may deny your own needs for things like showing off, enjoying feedback and attention, and expressing your playfulness. For example, you may go out of your way not to call attention to yourself, but then you feel unacknowledged or overlooked and resentful for it, so there can be a vicious circle involved. You may also have problems with people who seem to want to control or direct you. You believe that people should be their own authority. You may not want to admit to others or perhaps even to yourself that you want to win or come first. You may worry more than most about your role in a group or setting. You're proud but insecure, and this combination can limit your opportunities. You, more than most, require that others treat you with respect, and you might take jokes or ribbing seriously. With this position, it's hard to let yourself go, and you may even convince yourself that you don't want or need to express yourself openly and without self-consciousness, but doing so can result in denying yourself pleasure. You may take fun and games quite seriously. Of course, this can also mean you're very talented at turning a hobby into a business. You're exceptionally skilled at organizing and management. Health issues sometimes associated with this placement relate to the heart and back domains ruled by Leo. Uranus in Scorpio. 6 degrees. 45 feet 25 inches. You're most interested in making changes, innovating, and updating traditions related to intimacy, healing, metaphysics, psychology, transformation, investigation, privacy, dependence, support, the management of resources, and debts. You seek more freedom in or through these areas, and you don't feel much need to conform. You may believe in breaking through some of the inhibitions or taboos related to sexuality, power dynamics, mortality, and self-knowledge. Despite the need for progress, you can be very stubborn and set in your ways in these areas. You may challenge authority or rules and laws in place only if you feel they are limiting our progress, seeking to revolutionize the ways we view our intimate relationships with others and ourselves, or to awaken others to new thinking in these areas. Your intuition is powerful and hunches uncannily on point. You're excited to break new ground when attempting to understand the layers of yourself, a person, in your life, or a situation. Research is a talent. Neptune in Sagittarius. 12 degrees. 55 feet 10 inches. Your vision of an ideal world may center around the truth, tolerance, freedom, liberty, generosity, and intellectual understanding. You may idealize truth, justice, and the power of positive thinking. Your optimism is a breath of fresh air, but may at times be taken so far that you are somewhat blind to the practical side of an endeavor. Or, your goals and ideals are set so high that it can be challenging to reach them. Fantasizing about something better is your escape. Your openness to mystical or alternative interpretations of life is refreshing. Pluto in Libra. 11 degrees. 42 feet 36 inches. The quest to bring reform or to distinguish yourself through your relationships and connections with others can be so fraught with pressure at times that you have a hard time letting go or feeling content and satisfied with your accomplishments in these areas. The goal should be to feel more personally powerful through your ability to compromise and treat others fairly, not to seek your power from your relationships. You have brilliant insights into people and relationships. You know that improving the world starts with reforming the ways we interact with one another. Chiron in Aries. 23 degrees. 37 feet 08. You are a champion for the underdog, always ready to remind others of how special and important they are. However, you can have trouble absorbing that lesson yourself, and you may go through many years of telling yourself that you count and that you sometimes need to prioritize yourself to feel whole. You know it in your head, but it's hard to practice. Keep trying. Black Moon Lilith in Aries. 8 degrees. 11 feet 07. You may have felt shame for displaying assertive traits, for taking the lead without asking, or for making self-centered choices. You might harbor some fear of taking the lead, asserting yourself, and making executive decisions. Learning to accept this side of yourself and integrating these rejected qualities in palatable, small ways can be empowering and rewarding. North Node in Scorpio. 19 degrees. 55 feet 18 inches R. X. One theory behind the nodes of the moon, the North Node and South Node, suggests that we all come into this world with some underdeveloped and overdeveloped aspects of our character. The nodes of the moon point us to these specific qualities. The South Node represents our overdeveloped character traits that we automatically fall back upon. We're talented here, but if we overdo this area of life or hold on to these traits to feel secure, we may undermine our lives or prevent growth. On the other hand, the North Node suggests the qualities that we need to work on and develop to achieve inner balance. With the true North Node of the Moon in Scorpio, your South Node is in Scorpio's opposing sign, Taurus. This position can give the tendency to be overly self-reliant and set in one's ways. You may fall back on clinging to your possessions and habits, or you can be rather fearful of crisis or excessively focused on security. You may default to attempting to achieve your goals through willpower, not always stopping to consider your sixth sense and intuition. Learning to loosen the grasp you may have on your stuff, the people in your life, or the methods to which you're accustomed can help you open yourself to your soul's needs for transformation, change, and regeneration. In the first part of life, you may experience difficulties in partnerships because you may expect that others have or should have the same values as you do, but this can close you off to intimacy and sharing, and ultimately compromise the security you so crave. It would benefit you to avoid relying only on your instincts to support yourself and learn to share yourself more often with others. If you remain fearful of taking chances, or if you continue to resist change and others' input, you could find yourself unhappy or limited. Moving out of the seemingly solid and stable material world can seem intimidating. But clinging to things or situations that are either outdated, limiting, or that run counter to our growth will keep you in a state of lack. Releasing yourself from your attachment to doing things our own way will contribute to inner balance and satisfaction, and this is then reflected outward. Part of fortune in Pisces. 22 degrees. 06. 54 inches. Your senses or instincts for potentials are powerful. You go a different, sometimes meandering, path when seeking your joy or fortune. Pursuits that draw on your perception, compassion, creativity, or imagination can be most fruitful for you. Drama, entertainment, poetry, dance, fashion, design, psychic arts, or music are some of the more obvious choices. However, fields that allow for some creative or freeform thinking or that serve humankind can be in favor, including psychology, social science, medicine, and the like. Look to Jupiter and Neptune, planetary rulers of Pisces, for more clues to where and how you improve your lot in life. Vertex in Sagittarius. 11 degrees. 45 feet 55 inches. Midheaven in Aries. 19 degrees. 53 feet 39 inches. Planets and points in the houses. Sun in 6th house. The Sun's house position modifies and refines its position by zodiac sign. With the Sun in the 6th house of your natal chart, the work that you do, and the services that you offer, are essential to your sense of identity. Feeling good about yourself means being busy with daily activities and producing work you can be proud of. Focus on finding a suitable and rewarding avenue for expressing this part of you, being extra careful to choose an occupation in which you can express yourself. You are sensitive to criticism about the work you do, and you work best when you can create your own schedule. Positive feedback for the services you render is crucial to you. But be careful not to over-identify with the appreciation you receive from others, as your work and your health suffer when you feel underappreciated. Motivation to do a good job should come from within. You may feel happier with a position that doesn't require big decisions or too much pressure. You're typically very good at what you do, and you prefer to keep it that way. Watch for perfectionism that stands in the way of thriving. You tend to fret more than most people. Moon in 10th house. The moon in the houses can reveal where and how we go about seeking emotional satisfaction. If it's an issue, we can discover vital clues too. The reason for perpetual emotional unrest through the study of the house position of the moon, and these can manifest as constant changes, are ups and downs in the areas of life ruled by the house. It is in these areas that we should aim to make deep attachments rather than chase superficial and temporary emotional thrills if we are seeking out a genuine feeling of belonging and emotional fulfillment. It's important to note that house positions are quite sensitive to birth times. This position of the moon indicates an emotional need for recognition, popularity, acknowledgement, and achievement. With the moon in your 10th house, you can be quite charismatic. You are at your emotional best when you lead a structured and responsible life, but it can take time to get there. You may change your goals and ambitions, general direction, and/or your profession frequently in an attempt to find the perfect fit. You may worry about living up to your image, or the expectations of your family. Decisions may be emotionally biased, or you might act on emotional whims often. Learning to set your own heartfelt goals is the challenge here, as it is unlikely you will find real happiness if you follow or adopt the expectations of others, to which you can be especially sensitive. Your early experiences somehow encouraged you to seek success and never to shy away from taking on responsibility. You may even find your family or home in your work, career, or public professional role. You rather quickly and comfortably take on the role of manager or leader, or you readily accept responsibility. Much of your personality is expressed through what you do. You put a lot of heart into your roles, careers, and goals. Or, you may adopt a nurturing position in your career, making you an excellent leader, teacher, manager, counselor, or guide. You are charismatic, and it's easy for others to identify with you. Your influence can be considerable, and you may be a role model without even realizing it. Others often turn to you for advice. Note: since Moon is very close to the next house cusp, the next item is also relevant. Moon in 11th house. The moon in the houses can reveal where and how we go about seeking emotional satisfaction. If it's an issue, we can discover vital clues too. The reason for perpetual emotional unrest through the study of the house position of the moon, and these can manifest as constant changes, are ups and downs in the areas of life ruled by the house. It is in these areas that we should aim to make deep attachments rather than chase superficial and temporary emotional thrills if we are seeking out a genuine feeling of belonging and emotional fulfillment. It's important to note that house positions are quite sensitive to birth times. This position of the moon indicates an emotional need for a feeling of belonging with, and support from, friends and associations with groups. You look to acquaintances for support, and you offer the same in return. A changeable or unstable social life might be a reflection of inner emotional unrest. Certainly, waxing and waning feelings for others can be at the root of some problems in your relationships. With the moon in the 11th house of your birth chart, you're a person with many dreams, wishes, and hopes for your future, and most of these are altruistic and good-hearted desires. You might change your aspirations frequently with your changing moods, and you could have a hard time settling on goals to work towards as a result. This shouldn't serve as a big problem in life, but if it does, you might focus on looking within for answers rather than seeking emotional satisfaction through others. You're likely to need, more than most people, a sense of a mission or meaningfulness in your work and leisure time. It's important that you don't fall into the trap of thinking that you can't do something on your own or that others are more talented than you. Your independence is extremely important to you, but you also find your home amongst friends or groups. You are an amazing friend. Your interests, passions, and friends are likely to be varied, creative, unconventional, and unusual. You seek out others with shared passions or visions. You, yourself, are a visionary of sorts. Mercury in 7th house. You have a great love of debate, if only to get closer to your own thoughts and opinions. Bouncing ideas off others helps you to make a decision, although coming to definite conclusions can be painfully difficult for you. You see the other side of the coin. This is wonderful but does keep you in a state of uncertainty at times as you bounce back and forth between alternatives that seem equally viable. You might often play devil's advocate, verbalizing what you're thinking and seeing the reactions your ideas and thoughts receive helps clarify and sharpen your thinking. You are not a follower of others' ideas, often going your own way, but you do seem to need to interact with others to arrive at your decisions. Communication with a partner is craved, and you also love an audience for your own thoughts and opinions, but preferably a one-person audience, as you come alive verbally when it's one-on-one. You can be quite skilled at keeping a partnership animated and alive with interesting tidbits, new ideas, and stimulating conversation. You can quickly become bored in a partnership if the lines of communication go down, even temporarily. You might attract partners who are not especially sincere or downright duplicitous. In your quest to put an end to this pattern, you might decide to avoid scheming and overanalyzing in your relationships. You might also love to talk about and analyze relationships and partnerships. You get off on new perspectives that partners are good friends offer you. A meeting of the minds is vital to you in a partnership. You are perceptive and fair, always seeing the other side to a story, and you do your best to be diplomatic and kind. You are capable of much objectivity, and this makes you a good judge, lawyer, or reviewer. These traits are Mercury in the seventh house in pure form and can be, in reality, modified by Mercury's sign and aspects. Note that house positions are highly dependent on birth time. Venus in fifth house. You have a great love of drama and a wonderful sense of fun with Venus in the fifth house of your natal chart. Interest in romantic connections. May have started young, playful, sensual, and amorous. You are in love with love. You thrive on attention, and it is easy and natural for you always to have something or someone you're excited about. Children love you. There is a playful, charming side to you that is unmistakable. It keeps you young at heart. You are sensuous and enjoy indulging in the pleasurable senses to the fullest possible extent. You may surround yourself with beautiful art and music. There is a touch of the dramatic in you, in life and in love. You are usually quite loyal, and you are both charming and easily charmed. You are a performer at heart. It's also easy to turn your head. Often popular, you are a warm, fun friend. Mars in 11th house. With Mars in the 11th house of your natal chart, you like to organize events and activities, and sometimes take the lead a little too often. However, for the most part, you're an engaging, helpful friend who is ready to jump in and take action when need be, and this is a wonderful, rare quality. Your mind needs to be engaged in order for you to be at your most passionate, and for this reason, you can seem a little detached or impersonal in close personal relationships. You're not afraid to be different or to march to the beat of a different drummer. You're likely to enjoy working towards an important cause, and you can be quite a crusader. You may be attracted to intense, passionate, or energetic people, and your friendships can be quite colorful and possibly strife-ridden at times. Jupiter in ninth house. You are always hungry for knowledge and wisdom with Jupiter in your ninth house. You have a naturally philosophical nature, and you enjoy sharing your opinions and knowledge with others. You can be a natural teacher, and you love the learning process. You very strongly value freedom of movement and expression. You can easily be inspirational and find success in travel, education, teaching, sports, publishing, and foreign cultures. Even so, you learn more from intuition than book-based study. Saturn in 12th house. Note: since Saturn is very close to the next house cusp, the next item is also relevant. Saturn in first house. Uranus in fourth house. Neptune in fifth house. You are an imaginative and creative person with a strong sense of drama. You are inspired by art and feel compelled to express yourself in a fantastic or dramatic manner. You could be an excellent actor. You might also be an exceptionally creative teacher or caregiver, perhaps drawn to helping children with special needs. You have a powerful need to be appreciated, particularly on romantic and creative levels. Your love life involves a lot of fantasy, and often your deep need for drama
I'm
can
back,
lead you
y'all.
to see
Boy, I
things
tell
that
you,
you
I be
want to
moving. Got so
see,
much on my
and your
mind. Moving
romantic
so fast.
perceptions
I throw $20 out there with them. Thought I was throwing some
may
trash out
not
the
be
window.
accurate as a
I said, oh
result.
well.
You might attract
Maybe I
unusual,
need. I guess that was
chaotic,
a way
or
of giving it back.
secretive
Maybe somebody didn't
circumstances
find
in
it
your
neither.
love life if you are
That's how I'm
not
looking at it.
spiritually content. You might be attracted to lovers who you feel need to be saved somehow, but you could end up with people who are confused, distant, non-committal, or dependent. Keeping a high level of drama in your love life is important to you, but it can also be exhausting over time. Finding a
I was trying to get back here.
balance will be vital. Keep your ideals, but try to
But
avoid
thinking I'm throwing out some
expecting far
damn
too
trash.
much from ordinary people.
That way ain't nothing I can do about
Pluto
it.
in third house. You rarely accept what you hear or read as the truth. Your mind is very analytical, and you instinctively search for hidden meanings. You can be exceptionally persuasive in the way you express yourself, whether through the spoken or written word, primarily because you communicate with authority, conviction,
Hey
strength,
Lulu
and
love, how you doing today?
decisiveness. You tend to learn through observation rather than by asking questions. In fact, you can be quite resistant to learning directly from
Love you,
others,
Lulu.
preferring to be self-taught. You might fear the loss of self through self-expression, and thus, you might choose your words carefully as to avoid letting others know too much about you. Chiron in ninth house. Black Moon Lilith in ninth house. North Node in fourth house. The theory behind the nodes of the moon, the North Node and South Node, suggests that we all come into this world with some underdeveloped and overdeveloped aspects of our character. The nodes of the moon point us to these specific qualities. The South Node represents our overdeveloped character traits that we automatically fall back upon. We're talented here, but if we overdo this area of life or hold on to these traits to feel secure, we may undermine our lives or prevent growth. On the other hand, the North Node suggests the qualities that we need to work on and develop to achieve inner balance. With your North Node in the fourth house, your South Node is naturally in the 10th house. Your path is to, more often, allow yourself to be vulnerable, to open yourself to the possibility of receiving nurture, and to release the need to feel in control and on top of things. You fix problems and take on a management role expertly and quickly. It's second nature to you, but you need to be nurtured from time to time as well. Once you do let others in, your life will improve many times over. Fixing your home life can enhance your career tremendously. Part of fortune in 8th house. Vertex in 5th house. Aspects. Sun squared Jupiter. Orb 5 degrees 16. Sun square Chiron. Orb 1 degree 44. Sun sextile North Node. Orb 1 degree 58 feet. Sun sextile part of fortune. Orb 0 degrees 13. Sun square midheaven. Orb 1 degree 60 feet. Moon sextile Saturn. Orb 0 degrees 10 feet. Moon sextile Ascendant. Orb 0 degrees 13. Mercury sextile Venus. Orb 4 degrees 41. Mercury trine Mars. Orb 6 degrees 0. Mercury square Uranus. Orb 2 degrees 23. Mercury sextile Neptune. Orb 3 degrees 47 feet. Mercury trine Pluto. Orb 2 degrees 34. Mercury sextile Vertex. Orb 2 degrees 38 feet. Venus opposition Mars. Orb 1 degree 19. Venus trine Jupiter. Orb 2 degrees 48 feet. Venus conjunction Neptune. Orb 0 degrees 54 feet. Venus sextile Pluto. Orb 2 degrees 7 feet. Venus conjunction Vertex. Orb 2 degrees 3 feet. Venus trine midheaven. Orb 6 degrees 4 feet. Mars sextile Jupiter. Orb 1 degree 29. Mars opposition Neptune. Orb 2 degrees 13. Mars trine Pluto. Orb 3 degrees 26. Mars opposition Vertex. Orb 3 degrees 23. Mars sextile midheaven. Orb 4 degrees 45 feet. Jupiter trine Neptune. Orb 3 degrees 42. With Jupiter trine Neptune in the birth chart, you have an intuitive or spiritual approach to solving problems and a compassionate and tolerant worldview or perspective. You believe in your dreams, and perhaps humanity in general, more so than most. You care for the underdog, you're hospitable, and you look out for the vulnerable. There can be a natural love of rousing music, art, religion, ceremony, and drama. This influence is often connected with a kind of spiritual protection or helping hand. Ideally, you also have sensible aspects in your chart that help you deal with the practical world. Jupiter opposition Pluto. Orb 4 degrees 54 feet. Jupiter trine Vertex. Orb 4 degrees 51. Jupiter conjunction midheaven. Orb 3 degrees 17. Saturn square Uranus. Orb 6 degrees 38 feet. With Saturn square Uranus in your natal chart, there may seem to be more abrupt changes, shake-ups, or disruptions in your life than the average person. This is especially so if an inner planet, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, or Mars is involved with the Saturn-Uranus square. Otherwise, the effects are more general and not as personal as other influences in your chart. It can be difficult to call you progressive or traditional since you're very much both of these things. When you feel the desire to adapt and move forward, you might frequently feel stuck or tied down by your duties, obligations, or traditions. Mood changes can be extreme at times due to this inner struggle between wanting to break free and needing to follow the rules. You might often feel pulled between sharply different urges, handling your responsibilities or living up to others' expectations of you, and breaking free from expectations or obligations. Finding a balance between these two urges can be a real struggle in your life. You might maintain an unhealthy pattern in which you bottle things up and then burst with frustration. You might wrestle with decisions more than most, particularly when considering making a change in your life. The desire to do things in new and improved ways can be strong, but you might worry too much about doing them well, suffering some self-consciousness when faced with something brand new. Overcoming the fear of making useful changes is vital to your growth and fulfillment, as well as immensely freeing. You can feel extremes of feeling and reaction. Tensions escalate quickly. You might often feel divided or indecisive, torn between two opposite inclinations, which complicates life. Certainly, you're fascinated and sometimes tormented by the impact of every small decision on your life. You might often resent restrictions, more so than most, and you could find that you're often irritable as a result of this sensitivity. However, you're also quite resilient. Your traditions are often unusual, and you're likely to have mathematical ability, or at least a keen interest in how things work. You might enjoy tinkering and experimenting, attracted to inventions and innovations. Saturn conjunction ascendant. Orb 0 degrees 3 feet. Uranus square ascendant. Orb 6 degrees 34. Neptune sextile Pluto. Orb 1 degree 13. Neptune conjunction vertex. Orb 1 degree 9 feet. Pluto sextile vertex. Orb 0 degrees 3 feet. Chiron conjunction midheaven. Orb 3 degrees 43. North node trine part of fortune. Orb 2 degrees 12. North node quincunx midheaven. Orb 0 degrees 2 feet. Compare house systems. House system. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Chiron, Black, Moon, Lilith, North, Node, part of, Fortune, Alphabetius, 6, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4, 8 to 9, Campanus, 6, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4, 8 to 9, equal, 6, 10, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 9, 9, 4, 8. Coke, 6, 10, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4, 8 to 9. Meridian, 7, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4 to 5, 9. Morinus, 7, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9 to 10, 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 5, 9. Placidus, 6, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4, 9. Porphyry, 6, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4, 8 to 9. Regiomontanus, 6, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4, 9. Topocentric, 6, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 12 to 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 4, 9. Velo, 7, 11, 7, 5 to 6, 11, 12, 10, 1, 4, 5, 3, 10, 9, 5, 9. Whole sign, 6, 10, 11, 7, 5, 11, 9, 1, 4, 5, 3, 9, 9, 4, 8. Vienna Hall Stanford's planets and points house positions by house system. Vienna Hall Stanford's house cusps. House system 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alphabetius 0 degrees, 11 feet, 10 inches. 25 degrees, 26 feet, 16 inches, 22 degrees, 25 feet, 01, 19 degrees, 53 feet, 39 inches, 25 degrees, 22 feet, 36 inches, 27 degrees, 53 feet, 42 inches, 0 degrees, 11 feet, 10 inches, 25 degrees, 26 feet, 16 inches, 22 degrees, 25 feet, 01, 19 degrees, 53 feet, 39 inches, 25 degrees, 22 feet, 36 inches, 27 degrees, 53 feet, 42 inches. Campanus, 0 degrees, 11 feet, 10 inches, 27 degrees, 39 feet, 51 inches, 22 degrees, 52 feet, 45 inches, 19 degrees, 53 feet, 39 inches, 21 degrees, 55 feet, 44 inches, 27 degrees, 31 feet, 08, 0 degrees, 11 feet, 10 inches, 27 degrees, 39 feet, 51 inches, 22 degrees, 52 feet, 45 inches, 19 degrees, 53 feet, 39 inches, 21 degrees, 55 feet, 44 inches, 27 degrees, 31 feet, 08. Equal, 0 degrees, 11 feet, 10 inches, 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 0 degrees, 11 feet, 10 inches. Coke, 0 degrees. 11 feet, 10 inches. 26 degrees. 25 feet, 56 inches. 23 degrees. 04. 26 inches. 19 degrees. 53 feet, 39 inches. 1 degree. 17 feet. 06. 2 degrees.